Welcome back to another edition of Grizzlies Daily. I'm your host Malik, and let's just jump straight into it. So, Adam Silver basically releasing news as far as the All Star game, saying that it will be a format of USA versus the world. I mean, basically something that's been on the radar for some years now, been suggested by plenty of people, in the hopes to save the All Star game and bring more effort and just energy to the game from the players and the fans. So that's something that basically has pretty much been confirmed. Um, but the reason I bring it is because I recently saw a post, and I think it was by ESPN actually. ESPN released a post talking about the All Star game and the players that would be eligible for. You name a lot of players, but one guy that's name isn't on there, Ja Morant. They did this the last time that we mentioned that they mentioned the All Star game and the potential format, and even just Team USA. Ja Morant's name, and honestly, Jaren's name gets brought up more than Ja Morant when it comes to it. His name gets left out of these conversations, and it really doesn't ever make sense to me because it's like Ja Morant is a top 25 player in the league. So why are we leaving his name out of this? I mean, I'm looking at the format. I'm looking at the names that they listed. I saw Drew Holiday on the list. I'm sorry. I love Drew Holiday, but Drew Holiday hasn't had an All Star season in ain't no telling how many years. Let's just be honest. Drew Holiday is not the same player that he once was before. So the fact that we're not considering one of the better young players for a potential All Star game format like that, I find that kind of insane to me. And it really doesn't make sense because Ja Morant, when healthy, is a All Star caliber player. So the fact that his name is getting left out of this, it doesn't sit right with me. And I hope if this concept does become a thing for All Star games, we actually take a look at who really deserves it and actually think about it at the same time. I mean, I look, I get it. The Grizzlies are a small market, but let's be real. You don't talk All Star game with this kind of format without one of the more electrifying players in the league. We let y'all get away with it when it came to Team USA because Grant Hill, he was asked about that and he kind of just like bypassed it and it never really sat right with me. So that's just something that I saw that just really did sit right with me. Excuse me. Yeah, it just did not sit right with me at all. So hopefully, ESPN or whoever made the post, they wake their eyes up because if you're talking young players that's making All Star teams, and then there's a USA versus World format, John Morant's going to be on that list. If he's healthy, he's going to be on that list. It's just that simple. But something that I actually really want to get into that I really found interesting. Gilbert Arenas on Gil's Arena said that he's not really impressed with Zach Edey and he has his doubts about him. Now, I understand to an extent why he may think that, but I'm sorry. I really do apologize. But the reason I believe he may say that is simply for the fact that Gilbert Arenas, for one, he doesn't really pay attention to everything that happens. He's more of like paying attention to the flashier guys, but he does pay attention to most aspects of the game. So I'll give him that. And plus, Zach Edey had a pretty good rookie season by standards, but real Grizzlies fans and people that watch the Grizzlies know that Zach Edey had the potential to really get that reward and run away with it if he had the opportunity that other rookies had. And what I mean by that is if you look at the system with Taylor Jenkins, Edey would play sometimes 10, 13 minutes a game. He'd literally play like the first quarter and then sometimes wouldn't even play the rest of the game. And that just never sit right with me because there were multiple moments last year where Zach Edey could have easily came to the game and made an impact, but Taylor Jenkins just did not rely on him. But it's also because Taylor Jenkins didn't know how to use Zach Edey. Thomas Isla, on the other hand, learned how to use Edey, knew how to use Edey, and that's why we saw him have 20 and 20 games towards the end of the year because he finally unlocked the little potential that we saw, and we weren't able to see that with Taylor Jenkins. So I think it's okay to have your doubts about Zach Edey, but he is dealing with a new coach, new system. So we got to give it time. Got to give it time to really process, happen, and just overall, let it play out. That's what the all season summer camp is for. So it's not that I don't disagree with Gilbert Arenas, but I definitely do think we shouldn't use it as a sign to say Zach Edey is going to be a bust or anything, because I don't think that's going to happen. It's kind of hard for a guy like him to be a bust as long as he does what the team is asking for him. Now, with the casual audience and they look at stats, I mean, that's just something you can't really control. But real Grizzlies fans that watch it, they'll know if he's really a bust or not, because we've been down that rabbit hole of having players that ended up as busts. So I would say just give Edie a chance, let it play out, and we're gonna see a very good improvement from him. I really do think we will. So something else that I really wanted to get into. So it was confirmed earlier today that the Grizzlies were holding some workouts, and it's been confirmed that these four players have worked out for the Grizzlies either yesterday or today. Dylan Cardwell out of Auburn, Lawson Lovering out of Utah, Bo Montgomery out of UNC Wilmington, and Jonathan Pierre from Belmont. Now, I'll be honest, out of all the names that I just read, the only one that I'm familiar with is Jonathan Pierre, and that's mostly because Jonathan Pierre used to play for the Memphis Tigers. He used to play for the Memphis Tigers. He played, I believe, one season, and then he kind of went elsewhere. But Dylan Cantwell, I don't really know too much about him. I believe he's a big man, if I'm not mistaken. So out of all of this, I don't think any of these guys are like small guards or small forwards like that. So that's a good sign. That's a good sign that the Grizzlies are still looking at needs and they're saying, hey, you know, we know even though we may not have a first round pick, we're gonna still target our needs and see what we can do, because one thing about the Grizzlies, they do a great job of drafting in the second round. They have a great job. They do a great job of scouting that kind of talent late in the draft and coming away with some hidden gems. So maybe this is something that can benefit them. I hope it doesn't take away from the main focus, which should be getting veterans around the team. So I like to hear that the Grizzlies are trying, even with the low draft picks. But hey, good things coming from it. Nothing particular with these workouts. I mean, it's literally just workouts. But it's good. Like I said, it's good to see that the Grizzlies are actually trying. You know, this is something like, even with a year like this, hearing just things like that is a good sign to me. Now I know all teams do it, but a lot of teams don't do the process very well. So it's good to see the Grizzlies are actually trying to do this kind of thing. But looking ahead to next season, and I really, 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 really hope that it turns out good. But I want there to be a point in the season where the Grizzlies really think on giving Cam Spencer a proper chance. Last year, Cam Spencer played sometimes, and when he had big minutes, he was pretty effective on the court. I mean, we all remember the game against the Suns where he was back and forth with KD. He had like 16 points. You know, I think you can get that out of Cam Spencer. I think if you give him the opportunity, you can get that out of a player like him, and honestly, even more. Because I think with Cam Spencer, if the Grizzlies really want to give him a shot, Cam Spencer has to tap into that side of his game that's more than just being a 3-point shooter. Obviously, we know he's a pretty good defender. He's a great 3-point shooter, but he really look into helping in other categories, whether it's doing the small things like rebounding or playmaking, like things like that. Now, I understand that he may not be he's not the tallest player. He's not by any means. But like I said, if you get what you can out of him and maximize his game, you will see the progress really show. And it's just another bench piece that could really help the team out. Like I said, if you have a balance between veterans and youth, because let's be real, OKC doesn't have many veterans. I mean, I'll be honest, I don't really classify Isaiah Hartenstein as a veteran, but he technically is a veteran. And then you have Alex Caruso, who's the main veteran on that team. That's all they need. They have a high energy guy that is okay with playing his role, doing what he needs to do. But when it comes to getting the players on the same page, Alex Caruso does that. And I think the Grizzlies need someone like that. And they got it out. They have it in a young person in Cam Spencer because Cam Spencer has the capability of doing that same thing. But because of the opportunity and the skepticism behind him, he doesn't really get the opportunity much. So if you get someone like Cam Spencer that's been in the league for a long time and is used to those kind of things that you're asking of him, I feel like the Grizzlies have all the tools they really need, especially if they feel the needs position wise that they've noticed over the course of 2 years. So that's just something that I saw that I really feel like the Grizzlies should really focus on in the all season, whether it's training camp or just leading up to the season, especially in summer league. So hopefully we see something different. That's really all I got for today. I mean, it was a pretty slow day, other than the All Star news. So just still on the lookout for most of these rumors, especially when it comes to guys like Jonathan Kuminga, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and even Kevin Durant. So definitely still on the lookout for those, but I'll definitely make sure to bring it to you all once I get that new information. But if you like this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on post notifications so that way you can get the newest upload to Grizzlies Daily when we drop. We drop every other day and sometimes every day. But you wouldn't know if you don't press the subscribe button and hit that bell. So make sure to do that. And as far as this one, I will see you all in the next video for Grizzlies Daily. Y'all stay blessed.